From the Soaking Newsroom, here's your weekly local news recap. I'm Stephen Vieira. King County Sheriff's detectives are investigating a fatal shooting that occurred Wednesday night, August 31st, around 10 p.m. at a Motel 6 in the 18900 block of 47th Avenue South. Deputies initially responded to a 911 call at the motel, where a man said that he had been shot in the back as he got out of the shower. When deputies first arrived, they found another man in the parking lot, dead from an apparent gunshot. It was later discovered that the deceased victim was in town with two construction project co-workers. All three were staying in the motel while their construction job was in progress. The co-workers told police that the victim had been arguing with a suspect in the parking lot. During the argument, the suspect pulled a gun and fired at least 2 shots, striking the victim in the chest. A stray bullet entered an unoccupied room in the motel and struck a 4th man in the back. Police do not believe that the suspect and the victim knew each other prior to the shooting. The man who was shot in the back apparently did not know any of the others involved. He was taken to Valley Hospital and is reported in good condition. The suspect was last seen getting into a dark-colored older car. He was described as a black male in his 20s, wearing a gray hoodie and dark pants. If you have any information on this crime, please contact the King County Sheriff's Office. Further information at SeaTacblog.com. Tuesday night, August 30th at around 8:15 p.m., King County Sheriff's deputies, including a SWAT team, responded to the 12400 block of 20th Avenue South and Boulevard Park to a call of domestic violence with possible gunshots. Police arrived and contacted a man at the house who said he had been in an argument with his 22-year-old son. He claimed that his son had, quote, pushed him. The man said he had been using a nail gun, which neighbors might have thought was a gunshot, police said. The son was not located. However, a case was submitted by police to the prosecutor's office recommending charges of assault and domestic violence. More at btownblog.com. Much to the dismay of City of Des Moines officials and some local residents, the Pokémon Go game craze continues in Des Moines, especially around the city's marina and beach park. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of players, also known as trainers, continue to show up and wander around the area, playing the game while walking and looking mostly at their smartphones. As we reported last week, this revolutionary new game has created a concern among some residents who have complained about after-hour player abuse of public spaces with unwanted noise, litter, alcohol, drug use, and more, often extending into the wee hours of the morning in their search for virtual critters. To be fair, not all Pokémon Go players are causing problems, just a small percentage that don't appear to want to play by city and local residents' rules. The city has responded to the problems caused by some of the gamers by creating a Pokémon Go Facebook page with updates on the situation. On August 25th, the city posted a letter to local citizens on the matter. On Tuesday, August 30th, the city and the marina released a statement from Harbor Master Joe Dusenberry addressed to the gaming community. In his statement, the Harbor Master discusses gameplay in and around the marina and adjacent beach park. He requests the gaming community's cooperation in observing the 10 p.m. closures of the marina and the park. He also asks that people not play the game while driving through those areas due to the game's distraction factor, which makes it dangerous to play while driving. Dusenberry concludes his statement by saying, "I am struck by the large numbers of people, diverse in every way, that come here to enjoy playing the game and interacting with other people in very respectful and positive ways." He adds, "Please be safe and watch out for each other." The full text of both statements and more can be found at waterlandblog.com. The King County Prosecutor's Office announced on September 1st that a gun-carrying man who shot and killed a hatchet-wielding attacker at a Burien 7-Eleven store in March will not face charges. As previously reported, the incident occurred around 5:40 a.m. on the 14th of March when the suspect, Stephen Blacktongue, entered the convenience store wearing a mask and armed with a hatchet. Shortly after Blacktongue began swinging his hatchet at the cashier, a 60-year-old unidentified customer drinking coffee nearby pulled out his gun and shot Blacktongue in the shoulder. Apparently fueled by methamphetamine ingested shortly before the attack, and even though wounded, Blacktongue continued his assault on the cashier. The armed customer shot 2 more times, fatally hitting Blacktongue. Police say that Blacktongue had a previous criminal record, including an earlier conviction for attempted first-degree assault. He also had a history of committing armed robberies. According to the prosecutor's report, the customer's possession and deadly use of a gun was considered lawful in that he shot Blacktongue to prevent an armed robbery and to halt a potentially deadly assault on the cashier. Details at btownblog.com. On Wednesday, August 31st, a groundbreaking ceremony was held for a brand new 241,000 square foot cold storage warehouse facility in the northeast redevelopment area of Burien. Western Distribution Services, LLC, a Renton-based logistics and cold storage warehouse provider, addressed their belief that the site's proximity to the Seattle and Tacoma seaports and to SeaTac Airport was essential to the company's interest in Burien. The new cold storage warehouse is expected to open in the spring of 2017. Details at btownblog.com. The 15th annual Walk for the Women of Hospitality House will be held on Saturday, September 17th, starting at 10 a.m. at Burien Town Square Park. This year, organizers are promising, quote, a gift for every walker. Hospitality House Shelter for Homeless Women, located in Burien, has been assisting women for 16 years to regain home, health, and hope in South King County. Food, safe shelter, and guidance are provided to women working to regain their independence. The walk, held in the heart of Burien, is expected to be less than 2 miles in length. Families, dogs, and children are all welcome to participate. Further information is available on their website, hospitalityhousesouthking.org, and at btownblog.com. Time now for The Mayne Problem, commentary from senior writer Jack Mayne.
Burien residents should not blame the Port of Seattle for the recent increase in noise from airplanes taking off from SeaTac International Airport. The port has absolutely no control over the aircraft while they are taking off or landing. Blame the super-secret Federal Aviation Agency for the increase in takeoff noise in Burien and SeaTac. The FAA alone makes all rules about takeoffs and landings of all airplanes. The Port of Seattle only controls aircraft when they are on the ground. In fact, the Federal Aviation Agency did not even tell the Port of Seattle that they were changing the number of planes turning over Burien until after the departure procedures were in effect. Since July, propeller aircraft taking off to the north must turn west when they leave the ground, roughly halfway up the runway. Planes take off with the wind and land against the wind. The prevailing wind in this area is usually from south to north. That means all propeller-driven airplanes must turn over Burien when they take off toward the north. Trying to ask the FAA about its rules has been described as trying to question the Kremlin, virtually impossible. You were told to fill out a form and they'll get back to you sometime in the future. Maybe. Even the port has to wait for the FAA to deign to answer why this change was made. The only Washington state person likely to have any real influence over the FAA is Senator Maria Cantwell, who is on a committee overseeing the agency's budget. Meanwhile, Burien residents had better plan on more noise and consider the port not as being the enemy.
In the final take, we hear that the city of Des Moines, and in particular its marina and beach park, continue to be invaded by hordes of Pokémon Go players, complete with their cell phones in hand in search of virtual prizes. In some cases, these invasions almost look like a scene out of a zombie movie, but without the heavy makeup and the consumption of brains. Although no one is really certain that the game hasn't achieved the latter, based on the behavior of certain players, some of whom already seem to be lacking brains in their irresponsible and perhaps unhinged quests for Pokémon prizes. I have a dream that somewhere a clever hacker will modify the game to create a new version that's secretly distributed to all players, a version that will place all of Pokémon Go's coveted virtual prizes squarely in the offices and homes of the game's creators. Now, wouldn't that be karma? Stephen Vierre, So King, Internet Radio News.
So King News was created based on a generous grant from JLab's Encore Media Entrepreneurs Program, supported with funding from the Ethics and Excellence in Journalism Foundation and the Nicholas B. Ottaway Foundation.